I'm Stacey. I've been on boats since I was 2 weeks old. Been brought up on boats and spent all my spare time on boats really. I lived on a boat up until I was about 4 or 5 when I had to go to school. I skipped nursery and preschool, and then from then on I spent all my summer holidays, weekends, evenings, everything on boats with my dad. Helped him fishing, and now I run my own boat. I've got 2 boats. One we run out with just fishing trips all day, and the other one I do my boat trips and take people out to their boats. Like most of the fishermen around here, they'll go for a massive tons upon tons catch. Dad only went for enough to basically pay the bills. It wasn't after making millions or anything like that. It was all about just surviving really. So it was just to pay for us growing up and food and all your other bills. This is called a grip lead. So we cast all the way up there, called uptide fishing. The lead weight anchors it, like my little anchor I just put out a minute ago, uptide, and then we let out a boa line, which looks like the line comes all the way down here. So your bait's up there, but your line's down here. So when you get a bite, the first thing you want to do is don't strike. It's your automatic reaction to do it, but don't do it. You want to reel really fast till you take up all this slack line until you feel the weight, and then you strike.
I can do fast.
You can do fast. Fast and smooth. Smooth is what you want, Tom. And this is our galley area, where kitchen and cooker.
What kind of meals did you make on the boat?
Mainly like pies that are in tins. I can't remember what those pies are called. And yeah, those ones. And we used to do chips and in the oven and beans on toast and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, really healthy.
Did you get a roast done?
No, no. If you look at this oven, you can't really fit anything in there major. So lots of cheese on toast. That's what we used to have. And this one, this folds out. You bring out the plate, and that brings it into a double bed here, where Mum and Dad slept. And then down here is where my sister and I used to sleep.
Okay, I got something, Daddy!
Hang on. While you're at the front, can you untangle the line?
Oh, when you get one,
They're up
keep
round
hold
the
your rod, because I'm trying to concentrate on getting you fishing, but I'm worried you're going to drop your... Basically, first time I ever met Scott. We'd both grown up down here, but I'd never really seen him about. And I just saw him drive into the car park one day, singing loudly to a song in his car. And I knew some of his friends. And then one day he just wrote his number on a Tesco receipt and said, "Do you fancy coming fishing with me?" one time. So he'd always done rod and line fishing when he was growing up with his dad. His dad runs boats and takes people out rod and line fishing. My dad had always done the net fishing, so he said, "I'll take you out rod and line fishing." So that was our first date together, and then ever since then Dad lost his crew and I prefer rod and line fishing. So thanks to Scott, Dad doesn't have a crew any longer, and we just carried on going fishing together, and eventually we got married. And we started up, before we got a house and got married together, we started up our own business and bought a boat. And we used to run it together. He'd drive on the way out because we paid half and half when we went into it. And then on the way, once I bought this one, then he runs it on his own now. So.
Oh my gosh! He's massive!
Hold him then.
Oh gosh, he's a feisty one!
Alright, you got that? Yeah, hold it up to your face and then Dad can get you.
That's it, ready, Tom?
That's it.
Number 3.
There we go.
when I went to work for the yacht club and drove their boats, I was working there for just under a year, and then unfortunately I became quite popular with all the members there, and the senior launch driver, who was my boss, was getting a lot of compliments from the members, and unfortunately he then decided, when I came back off my holiday, he'd convinced the Commodore to give me the sack by telling them that I didn't have the skill or knowledge to do the job, which was a bit of a kick in the guts, considering I've got more qualifications than he's got. I've got my Ocean Masters and he's just got his Offshore Yacht Masters.
Wow, Harry,
You want to
wow.
hold the line? Yeah? And I'll move out your ways.
Hold it up then, Harry.
You looked.
Now I'm going to see your face as well. There we go. You both got one now.
Yes.
Well done.
I don't want you to knock my
So I decided that after a little while I was going to start up my own business, so I started searching for my boat, and then I bought Lady Grace, and we had a lot of work to do on it when we first bought it. Had a cabin right back to about midships, and between Scott and I, we gutted it, but having a full-time job in the week, both of us, my husband's a carpenter, and then I work in the stationery company and I do all their debt management. That was sort of an in-between job really. It was so I could see how my business went at weekends, being the most popular time for the boat trips. And yeah, I worked on it every weekend while still trying to run our fishing boat as well. And then eventually it was finally done. It didn't get launched. We bought it in the March. We worked on it up until August time, and it got launched on the 20th of August, which by that time was obviously too late in the season. But I decided I'd put it in anyway, and I run through the winter, and last winter was my first winter, and it's done really well this year. I basically, everyone thinks I take it out in the winter, but I don't. I carry on. I do my beginners fishing trips, and I do my bird watching trips as well. So I work 7 days a week through the whole year, and I try and work it so that to get my maintenance done on the boat, I haul it out on a Monday. While I'm at work, I get the boatyard to haul it out for me, and then in the evenings I come down and I paint it up and do all the little jobs on it, and I make sure it's launched for the Friday, ready for the weekend again. So that's busy life.
Has business improved and everything since you started?
I think so. Word's getting about a lot more now. So obviously summertime, you've got so many more people down here doing the crabbing and everything. So boat trips are really hectic in the summer. It's the winter months trying to get word about then, because there's not as many people about. But it'll get there slowly. And so far I've been booked up every weekend. So obviously we're coming up to Christmas now. Whether or not that will be the case, it might stop and then be a bit slack until January, February time.
Yeah.
But that's when I get my little bit of a breather.
Yeah.
I'll still go out fishing on my own though, or do my bird watching trips on my own.